Now, King Charles has begun an historic state visit to the Vatican. He and the Queen are due to meet Pope Leo for the first time since he was elected. The King will become the first British monarch to pray publicly with the Pontiff since the breakaway from the Catholic Church and creation of the Church of England in the 16th century. While the visit comes as questions remain over the King's brother, Prince Andrew, and his links to the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Prince has always denied any wrongdoing. Our royal correspondent Itinerary is at the Vatican.
Landing in Italy, escaping the pressures at home. For a state visit to the Vatican, Buckingham Palace has described as historic and hugely significant. On this trip, the King and Pope will pray together in the Sistine Chapel. The first time a monarch and pontiff have done that in around 500 years. It will be a powerful moment of religious unity in a week when family troubles have dominated. Together at St James's Palace this week, the King and Prime Minister on duty promoting British interests. But lurking in the background, questions around the Prince Andrew problem just intensify. His 30-room mansion in Windsor Great Park at the heart of political scrutiny.
Mr. Speaker, given the revelations about Royal Lodge, does the Prime Minister agree that this House needs to properly scrutinise the Crown Estate to ensure taxpayers' interests are protected? The Chancellor herself has said that the current arrangements are wrong. So will the Prime Minister support a select committee inquiry so all those involved can be called for evidence, including the current occupant?
Prime Minister.
Well, it's important in relation to all properties, Crown properties, that there is proper scrutiny. I certainly support that.
Prince Andrew's lease for Royal Lodge was front-loaded. In 2003, he paid £1 million to move into the property, and then £7.5 million to do renovations required under the lease. The money up front meant, in effect, he pays no rent. Where Prince Andrew sourced that level of cash is unclear. Buckingham Palace said he now receives no money from the royal family from any source. But for the next 24 hours, the focus will shift to Vatican City. And for those attending events, this is a timely state visit for the King.
Well, I think in the essence of prayer, we bring before God our weakness and troubles. And I've no doubts at all that family difficulties will be in the heart of both the Pope and the King as they, as it were, place themselves before God and ask for grace and strength to live through all the difficulties that we all have in life.
These are far from perfect circumstances in which to start a trip of this kind. But Buckingham Palace hope its message of unity and faith will make an impact. Daniela Ralph, BBC News.
Well, let's show you the live scene looking out at the Vatican as King Charles prepares to arrive there for his meeting with Pope Leo. Well, let's speak to our correspondent Mark Lowen, who is also at the Vatican for us.
Hi, Rajini. Yes, good morning. On a really symbolic, historic day here at the Vatican. It was back in 1534 that King Henry VIII broke with Rome and set England on the path to Protestantism, created the Church of England. And then for many centuries, there was real mistrust between the Church of England and the Catholic Church. In recent decades, there has been a warming of relations between the two wings of Christianity. And yet today will be that climax of that kind of unity and reconciliation as King Charles III becomes the first British monarch in 5 centuries to pray alongside a Catholic Pope, Pope Leo XIV, inside the Sistine Chapel just behind me there in the splendours of Vatican City. And they will pray beneath the frescoes of Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel, where Pope Leo himself was elected pontiff back in May. And prayer is often a very private moment. So the fact that it will be filmed by Vatican TV in itself is unusual. And yet, on top of that, you've got this extremely important symbolism of the two faiths coming together. Now, what we're expecting this morning is, before that prayer, King Charles and Queen Camilla will arrive. They will meet Pope Leo. It'll be their first meeting, of course, of two heads of state, because the Pope is also head of state of the world's smallest independent state, the Vatican. Then Queen Camilla will be given a tour of a chapel called the Pauline Chapel, and then they will go into the Sistine Chapel for that moment of prayer. And then later on in the afternoon, Rajini, another symbolic moment as the King and Queen are taken by the Pope to the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls, outside the Vatican, where the King will be given a special seat engraved with his coat of arms and conferred with the title of Royal Confrater, a sense signifying the kind of unity and confraternity once again between the two churches. The English Church traditionally was involved in the upkeep of the tomb of St. Paul in that basilica, and that seat can be used by King Charles and his successors in decades and centuries to come. So both Buckingham Palace and the papacy are very, very keen to emphasise the symbolism of today. But as you heard there in Daniela's report, of course, looming large in the background to all of this back in the UK is the deepening scandal over Prince Andrew, and Buckingham Palace very much hoping that the importance and symbolism of today is not overshadowed by that.
Indeed. Mark Lowen in the Vatican, thank you very much for the moment. We will